Goats equal fire prevention. This video right here is about what I'm proposing to every homeowner, every single city government, state government, homeowners association, private organizations, to make sure that y'all understand this is not just a joke. Yeah, goats are a beautiful little animal. I definitely got probably the dopest goat logo ever made. I crack jokes, I have fun with it. I don't take myself too serious, but I also don't overlook that this is a very serious opportunity with very serious implications. Make no mistake about it. This is a public benefit use case. So y'all seen some of the stuff I thumbed through with the YouTube. I'm gonna go deeper into it, especially when I find that specific video I want to show y'all about people's houses burning down and still being forced to, if not pay back a bunch of those mortgage payments that got deferred due to that national disaster, that natural disaster or fire disaster, whatever you want to call it. So some people are having to pay lump sum payments back, not to mention you're still paying potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to a mortgage company for a house that has burned to ash. That is fucking crazy. So I got a podcast that I did. It's a multifaceted, multi-episode podcast. Me and my co-host really put some fire shit together, but I want y'all to listen to what we talking about and understand that this is a serious thing. So I'm gonna play y'all a snippet of this podcast, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna learn some lessons. We're gonna open up this GOAT conversation. We're gonna open up this fire prevention discussion.
Okay, let's dive in. California's wildfires. I mean, they're not just a seasonal thing anymore, are they?
Not at all. It's really become a year-round crisis.
Yeah, and it's tearing through lives, property, the economy. The impact is just devastating.
Truly. And the scale.
Yeah.
It's hard to grasp. Think about it. A single large fire near LA, you're looking at potential costs of, what, $95 billion?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe up to $164 billion.
That's staggering, and you can feel the public trust eroding, can't you? People are watching this happen again and again.
Definitely. There was that poll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like 78% of Californians feel the government, state, and local just isn't doing enough on the prevention side.
They want visible action.
Yeah.
Proactive stuff, not just reacting after the fact.
Exactly. Because the reactive approach, spending billions on suppression, on recovery, well, it's just not sustainable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not when fires burn practically all year.
It's a fundamental shift needed, really.
It is. And it goes beyond just the burned homes. You've got local economies just crippled.
Supply chains getting messed up. Uh-huh. People losing jobs, filing unemployment claims, and insurance. Oh, boy.
Skyrocketing premiums, people losing coverage altogether. Sometimes still paying a mortgage on a pile of ash. It's brutal.
So that demand for proactive, visible prevention, it's loud and clear.
Right. So faced with all that, this stark reality, you're probably thinking, okay, what can we do? Well, maybe brace yourself for a bit of a surprise here. Because there's this unexpected solution gaining steam. It's eco-friendly.
And furry.
And furry. With a big appetite.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about using goats for wildfire prevention.
It sounds a bit out there at first, maybe.
It does. But in this deep dive, we're going to unpack this idea of smart grazing. Look at the surprising benefits, how it tackles these huge challenges we just talked about.
And where it's actually working already.
Exactly. Our mission here is basically to give you a shortcut to understanding this whole innovative approach.
And it's important because you really need to get why the old ways are falling short to see why new ideas like this are so needed. Totally agree. Let's look at those traditional methods for managing fuel. It becomes pretty clear, pretty fast, why we need alternatives like mechanical clearing, masticators, hand crews.
Right. The first thing is the cost. It's incredibly expensive.
How expensive are we talking?
You're often looking at $2,000, maybe $5,000, sometimes even more per acre.
Wow, per acre. And it's not just the money, is it?
No, not at all. It's super labor intensive. It's incredibly noisy.
Yeah.
And crucially, it's pretty much useless on steep hillsides or really rocky areas. You just can't get the heavy machines in there safely.
Okay.
Plus, there's this other issue people don't always think about. It can disturb the ground quite a bit.
Oh, right, which can actually encourage
Invasive weeds. Exactly. You solve one problem, maybe create another.
Okay, so mechanical clearing has its limits. What about herbicides? Quick, maybe, but the downsides.
Big downsides. Significant environmental risks, potentially contaminating water supplies, harming native plants and animals you didn't intend to target.
And the public perception isn't great either, I imagine.
Increasingly unpopular, yeah. People are worried about the health risks, rightly or wrongly, and that leads to more red tape, more regulations.
Makes sense. And then there's prescribed burning. Ecologically, it can be good, bring benefits back to the land.
Absolutely. Fire is a natural part of many California ecosystems.
But it's tough to scale up in today's world, isn't it?
Very tough. Despite the ecological pluses, you face, well, significant public pushback. People worry about the smoke, air quality.
And the big one, the fear of it escaping, right? Becoming another wildfire.
That's the nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
The liability for agencies is enormous. And on top of all that, we have a critical statewide shortage of certified burn bosses.
The people who actually know how to plan and run these burns safely.
Exactly. It's a specialized skill, and we just don't have enough of them.
Okay, so we've got issues with the individual method's cost, access, environment, public perception, staffing. But you mentioned something deeper earlier, this idea of systemic fragmentation.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for prevention efforts? Is it just red tape, or does it actively hurt things?
Oh, it actively hurts. It's much more than just bureaucracy. Picture this. You're trying to make a community fire safe, but the land is a patchwork.
Different owners, different agencies.
Exactly. State land here, county park there, maybe a local fire district responsible for that bit, all with different rules, different funding pots, different priorities.
And they're not always talking to each other effectively.
Often not. So you get gaps where nobody's treating the fuel.
Yeah.
You get duplicated efforts, wasting money. It makes a coordinated response much harder when a fire does start.
So it's inefficient and leaves dangerous gaps.
Precisely. That 2021 LAO report pointed it out. Not enough funding and staff spread thin, and no consistent statewide data to even track progress properly.
It's not that people aren't trying, but the system itself is flawed.
It's a structural problem, yeah.
Which leads us to this huge gap, this unmet demand. California wants to treat, 1 million acres a year? That's the goal with federal partners.
That's the shared goal, yes. For forest health, wildfire risk reduction.
But we're nowhere near having the capacity, the infrastructure, the workforce to actually do that much work with current methods.
Not even close. It's not just about finding a contractor. It's that the overall market capacity just isn't there to meet the scale of the need.
Okay. Which, like a perfect cue, brings us back to
our furry firefighters, the goats.
The goats. So targeted grazing, what is it fundamentally?
It's basically using livestock, and goats are particularly good at this in a really systematic way to reduce vegetation.
And they eat differently than cows or sheep, right?
Exactly. That's the key. Cows and sheep mostly eat grass. Goats, they prefer the woody stuff, leaves, twigs, shrubs, small trees, the very things that carry fire.
Okay, so they like eating fire fuel, sounds good. But practically speaking, how does a goat munching on shrubs actually lower the risk of a big, dangerous wildfire? What's the fire science there?
It boils down to tackling two really critical things in fire behavior. First up, ladder fuels.
Ladder fuels. Those are the low branches and shrubs that let a fire climb up into the trees.
Bingo. That's how you get a ground fire exploding into a crown fire, which is much harder, often impossible to control. Goats eat those lower branches, those shrubs. They break that ladder.
So they keep the fire on the ground where it's more manageable.
Exactly. They essentially fireproof that understory layer.
Okay, that's one. What's the second big impact?
They break up what's called horizontal fuel continuity.
Meaning?
Think of a continuous carpet of dry grass or leaves. Fire can just race across that. But goats, as they move and graze, they trample, they eat, they create patches, they break up that continuous carpet.
Ah, so they create breaks, slow the fire down?
Dramatically slows it down. It creates this mosaic pattern on the landscape, which gives firefighters a much better, safer chance to actually engage and stop a fire if one starts.
Okay, the advantages seem pretty clear when you line them up against the other methods. Cost is a big one, you said.
Huge difference. We're talking maybe $500 to $1,200 an acre for goats. Compare that to the $2,000, $5,000 plus for mechanical crews.
That's a massive saving. And accessibility. They can get places machines can't.
Almost anywhere. Seriously, steep slopes, over 30 degrees, rocky ground, sensitive areas where you wouldn't dare take heavy equipment.
As we close out this video, we're going to keep the GOAT conversation going, not just the channel, but y'all get what I'm saying, like metaphorically, spiritually, because this is a serious thing. Couple things I want to touch on. Please make sure you comment, make sure you send me an email. Anybody of any authority from city, state, federal governments, if they hear this and they resonate, I am dead serious. Hit me up, send me an email. It'll be in my description, it'll be somewhere on my social media, somewhere on my YouTube, whatever. Hit me up. Couple points I want to make about what we already heard just in that snippet is it's not just in the LA area. I understand that my co-host brought that up because I got homies in SoCal. I got family. It's other business partners I work with. They've been getting destroyed in SoCal for several decades. I mean, destroyed out there with fires. But respectfully, it's millions of us who don't live in Southern California and we're just as subject, if not more, to these fires. My hometown is Oakland, California. Shout out Oakland. But I operate way beyond, way more north than my hometown now. I have a family, I'm growing a business, I got 2 daughters, and in Sacramento County and these surrounding counties is historically agricultural. Agricultural, meaning there are massive amounts of dried out vegetation across acres of plots that are being neglected. Either the certain farm owners, the homesteaders, just really can't manage all that land from a vegetation and fire fuel standpoint, or a lot of the counties are kind of hoarding a bunch of, I hate to say it like this, but it's true, hoarding a bunch of neglected, tax delinquent, abandoned lands. And the shit is just fire fuel, just a spark can turn into a firestorm in a second. So it's not just LA, it's not just SoCal, it's the entire state. Y'all go talk to the millions of people who don't live in Southern California and ask them if they want fire prevention efforts to be deployed in their area. I bet you they gonna say yes. People losing jobs. We kind of touched on the economic aspect of it. These are things that I promise you I wasn't thinking about just a handful of weeks ago, right? I wasn't thinking about, damn, people get hurt and can't go to work if they're in a green collar, blue collar, or just a type of job where you have to go to a physical location. If that shit get burned down, where you gonna go to work at? As I grow this company, y'all gotta watch my videos on my proposal. Some of y'all I'm gonna actually send, if not the full version, a very info field version of my proposals that I'm sending, because I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to create jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. I'm gonna run a goat grazing, targeted grazing, smart grazing company. I'm gonna need people to drive the trailers. I'm gonna need people to basically do transport, pick up, safely travel, safely deploy our goats. I'm gonna need, man, this is a serious thing. I'm gonna need goat herders and caretakers, people to take care of the goats, visit the site, make sure the goats are standing upright, they're looking good, they're happy, they're healthy. I'm gonna need people to do education, to do the landscaping aspect of my business. I need real humans, boots on the ground, doing jobs. Okay, so this concept that I have is going to help create jobs, real world, long term careers. I'm going to touch a lot more on that later. Also, y'all heard about prescribed fires. Listen, why the hell would I start a fire to stop fires? I never, since I was a child and I saw scorched ground on the side of a lot of these highways, traveling up and down the state, going to see family and doing family events, that shit was dumb as hell to me when I was a kid. Grandpa, uncle, auntie, what? Why is the ground burned? Oh, baby, they do that on purpose. What the hell they do that for, TT? Oh, they do it because sometimes they have massive spaces of land that they want to burn down to the ground to keep from having wildfires. Okay, so we're gonna set fires to help with fire prevention. Listen, we can I don't have time today. Oh, I will have time at some point, but I don't have time today to go back and forth with nobody and have a respectful debate. It's nothing you can tell me about this shit, so go ahead and knock it off. Hire my goats and stop playing. There's a reason why, look it up. They're called fire bosses, among other titles. There's a reason why we don't see nowhere near as many prescribed, which is controlled fires in our state, because it's becoming less and less of a viable option. It's harder and harder and harder to find, first off, fire bosses who know what the hell they're doing so that you don't start a fucking wildfire. And who the fuck want to take on that liability as soon as one of them sparks become a firestorm? So knock that shit off and go hire my goats. Lastly, something I really want to start getting y'all opinion about is the demand for targeted grazing greatly exceeds the supply. California is hands down one of the largest states in the entire nation. I believe we're the most populated state in the entire nation. California has a horrible, in many cases, track record with dealing with fires, preventing fires, and then the reactive approach after a fire. Horrible. It's just the truth. We need more people using goats for fire prevention. It's more than enough money out here. And being from East Oakland, I got something to provide. Being a black man, I got something to provide. A lover of animals, a father, a person who's interested in science, biology, astronomy, and astrology, for whatever that's worth. I don't even know why I brought that up, but it's true. A woman I respect has a master's and is essentially working on her PhD in soil science. She has a master's in environmental science with an emphasis on soil ecosystems, soil life, things that happen with the soil, because everything grows out the soil, y'all. The soil is the launch pad to almost everything else that we deal with on dry land on this planet Earth. People will enjoy seeing this. So not only are we going to do fire prevention, and not only is it not enough people doing the shit, right? But the demand greatly exceeds the supply. That's a very, very big thing. So I really hope y'all think about this. Please listen to this more than once. Tap in with me. I'll talk to y'all soon.